Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Classics. Found this 1973 Volkswagen Thing, Thing. Found this in an Auto Trader Classics. It's based in Virginia. Person's asking $27,500. You may be asking, Rob, who would pay $27,500? Well, if you go on to Bring a Trailer, a lot of people are paying that much money and even more for this car. Let's go check it out. I found this car a little while ago on Auto Trader Classics. 1973 Volkswagen Thing. For those that don't know about this car is an interesting automobile. It was basically produced for, and you guessed it if you looked at it, the West German military. So they had a guaranteed military base order for this car, just like a Volkswagen Jeep. It was styled off the German military car that was built back in World War II as well. So there's a lot of resemblance to that, which was a little hard here for the United States folks to really absorb. So it really wasn't a big seller here in the United States, but it was an interesting car. It borrows components and mechanicals from the Volkswagen Beetle. That's very obvious when you look at it. It borrows some mechanical things from the microbus as well. And the floor pan is from the Common Ghia, because the floor pan is wider on the Common Ghia than a Volkswagen Beetle, and they use that. So the guys in Germany, Volkswagen, they got creative. They put this car together for the West German Army, probably sold a boatload of these things, and somebody had the brainstorm say, hey, why don't we build a civilian version just like they did with Jeep? And just like they did with Hummer later on, right? Same thing. So this car here, it was built from 1968 to 1983, but here in the United States, it started selling in 1972, and it was gone by 1975, and really for safety standards. I mean, that was the big issue, because these doors just slide right off its hinges. The front windshield folds flat down onto the hood, and you can take the rear canopy off, the convertible top off with no problem. And you can go completely topless, in warmer climates near the beaches and things like that. So if you lived in Malibu, this would be something that you'd go back and forth for dinner every night and have some fun. And here on the Northeast, you can do the same thing in Maryland shores and things like that. So an interesting car all the same. I like it a lot. It has an interesting transaxle because they had to get more height from this car. So they have a special type of axle. They called it the Portal axle design. And it's basically a way of two pinion gears to let the axle drop a bit so they can get some height on this car in the rear end. So very clever. Volkswagen's always done very clever things, and no exception here. So this feature car that we're looking at for $27,500, when you go on Auto Trader, Bring a Trailer, we'll go in some pricing. But he's in the ballpark of what this car is worth, and because this is a show car. And there's no expenses spared on this car. And you can see the factory had to put these splines in on the stampings to put some strength in the steel, because there's a lot of flat surfaces. Just like the Cybertruck has a lot of flat surfaces. Flat surfaces are easy to cast and press, but they put these support struts in there in the stampings. There's the back of the car. Interesting that it has a wraparound rear bumper. I forgot about that. That's pretty interesting, right? And there's your Volkswagen taillights. That might be Type 2. I don't know. Maybe it was the microbus rear hatch. But the detail on this car is amazing. This is a pristine showpiece car. And he's actually, like I said, he's in the ballpark to what this car could bring him if he sold it on Bring a Trailer. And it might even be on Bring a Trailer right now, so we don't know. But there's the front of the car, but look how beautiful the color, everything just shows, and you see the attention to detail on the interior of this car. It's amazing. The engine looks impeccable, really beautiful exhaust and everything else. And look at that dashboard, the seats, he has these beautiful carpets that are sculptured for the car. You got your little footwell inserts here, so you can put your foot there. That's pretty cool. There it is with the top up. It's got the side windows, which is cool. Probably not that easy to put up and down, but with the side windows, I'm sure it takes a little work. They probably just slide into the top of the doors, just like some British cars we got to know and love. Look at that interior, how nice it is. You know, very Spartan. It's meant to be on the beaches, meant to be used, meant to be, driven roughly. He's got a Coca-Cola thermometer on the dash. Yeah, and he's got a rock and roll speaker back there. Car probably has no heat unless there's heat coming out through the ducts on the side, the heater channels and all that. But there was an option for a spare, an auxiliary heater in the trunk was one of the options they had. So, and there's your Volkswagen Beetle speedometer. You know, a really nicely restored 1970 Volkswagen Beetle, Super Beetle. It's going to be $15,000 just for a Beetle. So when you think about the rarity of this car, it's kind of interesting. He's really big on this stereo system. There's all his trophies. Yeah, there's not much not to like about this car. He gives a lot of photographs, a lot of details of all the work that he did on it. And yeah, I mean, look at that. Front windshield folds down and all. It's so cool, right? So much fun. So this car, what I did was I went on Bring a Trailer to see what the prices of these Volkswagen things are going for. And some of these are recent sales, and you can see between 20 and 30, there's a ton of cars being sold in that price range, as there is a ton of cars being sold between 10,000 and 20,000, but probably not in as good condition as what we're looking at. But you can be the judge on that if you want to get onto Auto Trader and just look on Bring a Trailer and look at some of these prices. But some of these cars, just looking here, sold, in May of 2 years ago. I just picked a couple before that was sold last month. But yeah, dive into it. I'm not thinking that this person selling this car too far off where its price point is. It's probably just because you put 27.5, I'm going to be in at 22,000 just to be obnoxious. But it basically, he's in that ballpark, I think, for a car like that. So a really interesting car that you don't see many of these anymore. If you want to learn more about this car, you go on Wikipedia and some places, and they'll tell you all the stories and where it was built and the history of the car. But again, it was here in the United States only a couple short years, from 1972 to 75. So these were not cars that were allocated to dealers. You had to special order them, as I said, and you don't see many of them. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like this channel, and if you like seeing cars like this, please subscribe to Daily Classics by hitting that little button that says subscribe. We love to see you. And please pass along this channel to friends that love cars. This is Rob. Again, if you want to find this car, just go on to Auto Trader Classics. Go in Virginia, type in Volkswagen thing, and this car will come popping at you. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon.